What's going on, guys? We're here. We're live. Welcome back to a new Poker Live podcast. My name is Joey Grimont, a.k.a. Chicago Joey. You're joining me here for a week of fun and adventure known as Daily Fantasy Sports Week. It's been a fun week. We're on Friday. This is our fifth guest. If you missed the rest of the podcast, we had on Sal Sud, a.k.a. Max Sildori. Monday, Ryan Dott. Tuesday, Asani Fisher. Wednesday, Jonathan Bales. Thursday, and you can find us on iTunes, search Poker Life as well. Our guest today is a man who I'm convinced does not sleep at all. He watches football 24 hours a day. If he's not watching live football, he's watching old football and taking notes on everything relevant to either write about it for an article, talk about it on his podcast, write about it on Twitter, or just do something with it, man. I feel like this guy is a sick grinder. And I'm excited to have him on the podcast. We also, by the way, we're also co-host. We got a co-host today. We got my little bro, Tutu Andrew Cool, a.k.a. Big Dog, a.k.a. Yardstick, a.k.a. Stallion, a.k.a. Little Bro, a.k.a. Clausen. I'll say what up, little bro.
Hey, what up, y'all? Hello, fans.
Little bro. What's up, little bro? Welcome as the co-host, man. We ain't had little bro in the house in a while. But we're joined by the big puppy, Adam Levitan. What's up, Adam? Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Yeah, that was a great intro. It wasn't exactly like the Daniel Negreanu level intro, you know what I mean? Like the real get hype intro, but I appreciate it, and I'm honored to be here. Really been listening a long time and love it.
Yeah, well, you know the Daniel Negreanu intro. So I got some negative feedback from that intro from people who never watched the podcast. They're like, why what's this wrong with this guy? Outside of his intro, this guy is cool, but why was he so excited to start off? I'm like, oh my, I was kind of trolling. I'm fucking with him a little bit. So.
Yeah, they don't get it. If they don't get it, fuck them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. But guys, if you're tuning in live, much love. I know some of you guys been here all 5 days. I appreciate that a lot. So Adam, let's talk about you a little bit here, man. So let's give people a little backstory on you. So from what I can tell, you've won multiple awards for writing about fantasy sports. You currently write, or you're an analyst on DraftKings, but you're a contributor for Roto Grinders and for Fantasy Labs. Now you're a member of the team Fantasy Labs we talked with Bales about yesterday. You also co-host a podcast on DraftKings called the name kind of blend. What's the exact name of it?
The Fantasy Football Edge,
The Fantasy Football Edge podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Is that it? I mean, you play some poker. You just won a poker tournament at Sugar Hill a couple months ago for a 5-figure score there. So what else am I missing in this introduction, my friend?
Yeah, so I don't, it sounds like a lot, but I mean, is it really work, right? Like I'm talking about football, I'm writing about football, I'm tweeting about football. I mean, if that's work, then I feel bad for people who have real jobs, Like I'm pretty lucky to have the job that I have, so I would never complain about being busy or anything. My wife might complain. I got 1-year-old upstairs. I'm rarely around during during football season, but yeah, it's like 4 months. I catch myself complaining and I stop myself, because I obviously have pretty GTO life.
Amen to that, man. B Trail already says you're a good source for DFS NBA. I've found on Roto Grinders. Apparently, I mean, if you're grinding NBA content as well too, that's a lot more than just those 4 months out of the 4 months.
Yeah. I don't do as much NBA and I don't start until NFL's over, but NBA is like my favorite sport. Like I love fantasy, right? I'm not sure I love football. Like, and people like always flip out when I say that, but I don't really love football. I love fantasy. Like my whole life, I was just like a freak about fantasy, not necessarily a freak about football, but I do love the NBA, man. It's the best.
Guys in the chat, let me know how the audio is. I just want to make sure the levels are clear. I had a little issue the first podcast. I'm just trying to make sure it's good. Adam, I can tell that you talk on podcasts, by the way, because you talk much different than our previous 4 guests that we've had this week from the DFS world. So I can tell you're a seasoned professional when it comes to speaking.
Yeah, exactly, man. You get used to it. You get used to it too. I binged yours. So like I went all the way back to like I know like Will Jaffe, Dankness, and everything. So like going back all the way to there. Yeah, and you've obviously like developed your voice too. So yeah, I talk like this. Like when the microphone is on now, I guess I don't talk like this in real life. I don't know. Maybe I do. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like there's like a radio voice where you bring that energy and you're kind of you're speaking with a little passion in your voice. You got a little oomph sort of thing in there. So my little bro's trying to develop that, man. He's working on his voice. He's still young. He's a young whippersnapper. Can you imagine me at 17 years old again, Adam?
Oh God, how old are you now?
31.
Yeah, 17.
How old are you?
I'll be 34 in September.
34. What do you do? What do you like? Why do you look so young, kid? I mean,
I know. I know. I don't eat well, that's for sure. I wish I ate better, and I don't exercise hardly ever anymore. So I don't know. I just have that young look. But yeah, I mean, 17. I can't even imagine. I was like playing like hosting poker games in like my mom's basement when I was 17.
Didn't you do something like that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's how we. I love poker, man. I don't know. Yeah, wait, you've been playing poker for a long time, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I hosted those games in high school, and kind of first ever time I ever played online was way before like the moneymaker boom. Had a My friend had a party poker account, and at I went to Penn State in 2001. I remember. Shout out to my boy Jason Barg, J Barg 001 on party poker, and we used to mess around on there. Like I would run home from class, and we would all play on his account.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
that
whoa,
was
oh my
back
God,
then. I was
man.
even against TOS.
Holy shit, that's not good. My little bro knows that's not good. You can't be saying things like that. Come on. We erased that. Okay, we're good now. We're good. Go ahead. Continue the
There
story.
was no TOS in 2001, and yeah, then I started getting into playing live in some games at Penn State, and then just kind of went from there to started playing in Atlantic City. And at this time, like now, I live in Philadelphia. There's like 5 casinos that I could play poker at within like 20 minutes of my house or 30 minutes of my house. Back then, it was only Atlantic City, so we used to drive from Penn State to go to Atlantic City. And like I remember I played a $500 limit hold'em tournament in like 2002 or 2003 that Barry Greenstein busted me out of, and it was like I was so devastated, like driving back to Penn State. Yeah, and then I mean, people don't. I mean, people realize like working in sports media does not pay very well. So as I kind of like grinded the ladder there, I always kept playing poker, and I didn't really play tournaments. Pretty much only play cash, and I'd like maybe play 2 or 3 tournaments a year.
Thank God. Thank God, a cash game poker player. I cannot handle poker tournament players. So I was going
Yeah.
through my list of guests. Not many pure tournament players on that list, that's for sure.
I used to like really have a bad attitude towards tournament players, like, and I used to have a really bad attitude towards No Limit too. Like, I came up only playing Limit because like there was no such thing as a No Limit cash game when I first started playing. So I started off playing 612 Limit at Borgata. I would drive like 4 hours just to play 612 Limit. For those guys that don't know, like your expectation in that game might be like $15 an hour, like $20 an hour, but like I loved it. Well, you don't think that's true? In 2002 at Borgata, the 612 game?
Okay, maybe, yeah, back. I mean, I don't,
At least, probably more. And yeah, so I was so excited about that. But yeah, like I had a really bad attitude about playing tournaments. Never played them. Probably should have, considering how soft the fields were back then. But you know, it is what it is.
yeah.
Like, do you have regrets about not playing tournaments just because like
Stop it. Just stop. No, there's no fucking. I got no fucking. I made it to play the highest stakes online playing cash games. I literally have no regrets about that.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, sure, you miss some of the glory that comes with the tournaments because it's so strange when you play these. You know, I went deep in the 3K PLO this summer in the series, and you got all these people online like, "Oh, Joey, we're rooting for you and hope you do well."
Right.
I'm like, "What the fuck, man? Where y'all been the last seven,
Right.
8 years, man? When I've been playing cash games all the time, man." For some
Yeah,
reason,
like
yeah, it's so weird how that works.
I I don't regret not playing them for the glory. Like I couldn't care less about that. I regret playing it because they were like literally giving away free money when like you could win $1 million. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like these people were so bad. Like if you were good at maybe 5-10 no limit, or definitely if you were good at 10-20 no limit or 10-25, you would have been like the best player in a 10K WPT field in like 2005. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you say you got a question, bro?
Yeah. Now, why were you so mad about tournament players? What tips you off about it?
Oh God. Like they're
Question.
just so like miserable, and just like I feel like most of them, and I don't want to bang anybody, like a lot of them, at least back then, like just I thought were really bad. And I
Bang
guess
bang.
yeah, maybe I was jealous that they were like having these huge scores when I was like grinding 5-10 no limit. You know what I mean? I don't
Okay.
know. I really I don't know. I just had a really bad attitude about it.
Question, bro. Bring. I mean, it's a good question. It's kind of. I mean, I don't say I hate tournament players because like, and I got a lot of tournament player friends. Shout out to my tournament player friends, but they do seem kind of miserable, and it makes sense when you think about it, because as tournament players they have to play 8 to 10 hours a day, repetitively, and they sometimes don't make money. They play 10 hours a day and they make no money because you
Right.
it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of, so for your DFS approach, so you mentioned you were in sports media out of Penn State.
Yeah, I was a journalism major at Penn State. Yeah, I always thought I was going to be a beat writer. There was no such thing when I graduated from Penn State. I graduated in 2004. Like there was no such thing as like a professional fantasy football writer. Like it didn't exist. Maybe like Matthew Berry was doing it. Maybe that was it. But yeah, now like kids graduate and there's like a million jobs in fantasy largely because of DFS.
Yeah. So you won some awards back. How do you? So you won awards for fantasy sports. Listen, I don't know. I'll blend
You
together,
believe
bro.
that there's awards for fantasy sports
Listen,
writing?
I was surprised as hell when I saw that, but I'm like, okay, well, you know, you got to be like, much respect, Poppy. Much respect to that, man. Shit, I'll take any award I can get, man.
Yeah. There's like a convention every year called like the FSTA or like FSWA, Fantasy Sports Writing Awards, Fantasy Sports Trade Association. And I was working for Roto World. Like I was lucky enough to get this job at Roto World after a few years, like 2009 or 8, I think I started, 2009 maybe. And yeah, I just wrote some stuff, submitted it for the award, and just I won somehow a couple times. I don't really know how.
You sleep with someone to win that award, Poppy, or was this like a pure work and?
No.
Okay, hey, you might have. I don't know.
Realize, like similar to poker, like even probably more so than poker, the fantasy community is like 99% male, maybe 98%. Something crazy.
Listen, I think for me to win one of these poker awards, I'm gonna have to sleep with someone, and it's probably not going to be a woman. So I'm not prepared. Like I don't think they're going to give me like I don't think so. So shout out to Poker Wars in LA in February next year, please. Please don't give someone else the award for
Who are you up against? What other podcast could you possibly be
it's
up
more
against?
like media. Like last year they put me in as a media person. I don't consider myself a media person. I just do podcast. So it was against media people, and then I don't know if it'll be the same thing. So it's like a bunch of guys who have been doing things for a long time in the industry. So they're they're more deserving from like a lifetime perspective and stuff like that. So
you should just submit 2 podcasts. Obviously, Bill Perkins, that's the chalk you're going to submit, but you have to submit Viffer. I mean, that was the most absurd. Like normally for somebody saying stuff like he said, I would need proof, like receipts, as you like to say.
Yeah.
But I actually believed him. He was like, I was playing 200, 400 no limit, and I had a million, and then like a midget came over, and me and Dan Blitz went and fucked him. Like I would never believe that. I would never believe that in a million years from anybody. But he came off as somebody that I actually believed.
Yeah, he had a lot of stories. So there was a guy I had on the podcast. First of all, I had a guy named Viffer on my podcast. He's a well-known high-stakes poker player. And he told some of the most outrageous stories anyone's ever told on my podcast, and like multiple ones. So
Like
there were
SRP?
crazier. No, so he was talking about something about potentially getting a blowjob from a man, and then he put pictures of her on Twitter, and it kind of looks like a man. I got to be fair with you. He talked about getting his girlfriend stolen by Dan Bilzerian. He talked about doing meth, accidentally doing meth, and then being awake for 5 days and ending up in a hospital, and then sleeping for 30 days, and his house got evicted, and his car got stolen,
And meanwhile, he's playing like literally like the biggest games you can play at Bellagio, I guess he was saying.
Allegedly, yeah. Sean says, how much of percentage of Viffer's shit was legit? Less than 50%?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. I believe it was all true. I believe he went to rehab and he had that rehab story. He was around. Yeah, man. I don't know. I like to believe, man. I got belief in his story. So.
Yeah. Well, he's not like I feel like you had to like kind of beg him or really ask him to be on the pod. Like if he really wanted to come on and lie, like he would have been like some kind of like media whore being like, hey, come interview me. I want to tell these fake stories about Dan Bilzerian, who's now like super famous,
Yeah. No, I agree with you. He did say he played 75,000 hands of poker straight without sleeping, and I mean, as one of the people who has played a lot of near that amount of hands straight, I found that a little hard to believe. But I mean, hey, I can. It's
You got a record breaker here. I mean,
who?
You.
Me?
You broke the record.
I mean, I got a couple, but it's okay.
I mean, that's the one that I
It's
remember
okay.
the most,
Which one? The 50,000 hands one?
Yeah.
Because I made that funny video about
There's
that.
proof on it.
I do got master. I
You
got
don't.
receipts. He don't got. That's true. He don't got proof. You're right. You make a good point. What's the? The motto, Adam, right? If you sense thy seat, you shall ask for thy receipt. And sure, it's deceit, but whatever. I feel like it works.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, no, I believe him still, but that's all right. You don't have to.
You ever had any guests on the pod that like your guests are you're mainly strategy talk when you guys do your podcast, right?
Yeah, I think I heard you talking to Bales about this. I definitely think there's room in the industry to like get to know some of the people, like the you interviewing like Doubt, like I never would have been able to recognize Doubt in a million years. Never would have been able to recognize. Well, I did meet Sahil actually at Peter's wedding, but before that, I would have never been able to recognize him. So I think it's cool to get to know people like you were saying to Bales. But no, our podcast is straight strat, and yeah, I try to be pretty hardcore with the strat, and I think people like it.
Yeah, are you as hardcore with the strat on the pod as you are on Twitter?
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, we like to joke around and have some fun, but I think people come mostly for strat and maybe a little entertainment.
I mean, you're like grinding pretty hard, man. What's your process like for taking in all this information?
Yeah, so like I'm basically I try to treat it real organically, like whatever I'm doing to research for my lineups and for my week and for my season long draft or whatever I'm working on, I just put it on Twitter. Like I don't hold anything back. Like if I find an article that I think is interesting that I'm going to use to help me make decisions with my lineup, I just put it on Twitter or I write an article about it. If I come across a stat that I think is really relevant to a week that can help me and therefore help other people, I just tweet it or I write an article about it. It's not like I have some big master plan where like I'm gonna do all this stuff and it's gonna get me Twitter followers and I'm gonna get money. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm working on for my lineups, and I'll just put it out there.
So, what are the main games that you play typically then for NFL?
Yeah, so it's kind of an inner struggle. Like, I don't want to have the same regrets I had with poker, right? Like, I did pretty well grinding, kind of mid stakes or whatever, no limit cash. And that's kind of what I'm doing now in DFS. I'm playing mostly head to head, double up, 50-50 games, trying to game select, trying to just got to keep my graph going up steadily. But I feel like in 10 years, I don't want to regret being like, hey, I never took a shot at winning a ton in these tournaments when everybody in DFS was, winning a ton of money playing tournaments. So I don't know. I'm trying to get better as a tournament player, but I'm definitely not there yet.
So, I guess if you're doing cash game and you're talking cash game strat and you're playing double ups, you're essentially competing against a lot of the players you're giving away your strategy to. You're sort of, affecting your ROI, your
Mm-hmm.
expectation potentially
Mm-hmm.
to a pretty negative degree.
Uh-huh. So, two things. First of all, I think people overestimate the impact that I have. Like last year during the preseason, like my biggest guy I was all over was Tyrod Taylor, and then week one shows up and he's like 4% owned. I think people overestimate that, number one. And number two, like I don't know, I don't want to, whatever. Like I get, I could never make as much playing DFS. It would be hard for me to make as much playing DFS as I could make kind of my role now as like an independent contractor, like as somebody who is like a freelance person in the space. Like it would be really hard. I'd have to really be really, really, really good and really have a big bankroll, I think, to make as much as I can make doing what I do now.
Yeah, so I guess now you're not, are you strictly affiliated with one site, or are you independent
Yeah.
contracted by all the sites depending on each article sort of thing?
Yeah, so the only operator that I work with is DraftKings, and then the main content site I work with is Labs, and then I do some other stuff. I do one show for Roto Grinders, and if people ask me to be on a podcast, I almost always say yes, just because I like doing podcasts and it's fun. Like people don't pay me to go on their podcast or anything. I just do it.
No,
Um,
Lee's lying. We paid him $200, guys. Okay, pay all our guests to come on the podcast. You think I just get these people on the podcast for free? You guys were crazy. Come on.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much it. It seems like a lot, a lot. I'm working on a lot more than I am.
Would you
But
pay
no,
anyone to come on your podcast?
no, no, no,
I don't
no.
think I mean, I might pay like Dan Bilzerian $100 to come on or something, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't want to start that precedent of paying for guests, and it seems like a very.
What would be your end game there to like get more people to watch it? Like I
I
mean,
guess
if
so.
he's
Yeah.
if he's doing it for money, he's probably not going to be a good guest anyways. So
Yeah. I guess
I don't
so.
know.
Who are the guys you have on mainly then? Are you co-hosted with somebody else, right?
Yeah, Peter. I think Peter Jennings, CSU Ram, and
Jesus,
then
Peter does all kind of shit, man. Fuck's sake.
yeah,
He's a
yeah, and
grinder.
then and then Al is Al Zeidenfeld.
Hmm.
May have seen him on ESPN last year. Former DFS Tournament Player of the Year. We do the three-man game by game on Thursdays, and then I actually talk to myself on Tuesdays during the season. I do a solo pod where I just talk to myself for like 30 minutes, kind of recap the week, go over kind of mistakes I think I made, things I thought I did well, and then things that other people did well or made mistakes in, and I've gotten some good feedback. Even though like I was a little concerned to talk to myself
Yeah, I know
for
what you mean.
30
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
but it ends up working out, and I actually kind of enjoy it.
That's real fun. That's cool because you kind of give people these couple looks. So if you guys do, what's the three-man thing you guys do on the Thursdays?
Yeah, just game by game. So we go game by game and we just go around a table, talk about the injuries, talk about what we like, what we don't like. Yeah, just talk about every game.
Sounds fun, man.
Oh yeah, no,
Al, he used to play poker as well too.
yeah, I think so. He definitely grinded like some tournament scene. Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
I don't
yeah, I
know too
think.
much. I don't know too much about his poker background, but yeah.
Oh, okay, that sounds cool. That sounds like something that would be beneficial to check out and watch, listen to, be interested in. Because I mean, I feel like I don't pay too much attention myself to the DFS podcast because I really wasn't. I guess I played a bit last year. I'll probably play a bit this year, but that'd be a fun way to kind of learn more about the games coming up and stuff like that too. So I think I'm gonna have to put that on there. But I like the idea because you talk about it on Thursday, and
Hmm.
then when do you and Peter do the podcast then for DraftKings?
That's we'll tape like Thursday afternoon.
Thursday afternoon, and then the Roto Grinders one, is that weekly?
Oh, that's a show I do. Yeah, on Friday night. I do a show with two other guys. Yeah, on Friday night on Roto Grinders, like 9 p.m.
What's Roto Grinders?
Roto Grinders is one of the biggest.
It's like pocket fives for
It's
good.
like it's got everything. It's got the poker, it's got the forums, it's got strategy. It's like if you're a beginner, you go to Roto Grinders, and that's how you get better at DFS.
Okay,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
sweet.
Pretty sick resource. They're making a lot of money too. What a great fucking idea. Man, what a great idea. But yeah, that's cool. I like the idea of Tuesday you do it. You can kind of recap all the things you talked about on Thursday and on Friday, and people can kind of follow along and live vicariously through your picks or through your experiences. And yeah, I think that's a really fun way for people to experience DFS.
Yeah, I also post. I do like an article on Tuesday too, where I post my main slate cash lineup on DraftKings and kind of review that. So like, which I thought was going to be a really good idea, which maybe it was, but it's like so painful to write when I lose. Like 1 week, like I lost like 95%, and I had to like write about it and like put it out there. I was like, God, this is so painful. But I think people appreciate that too. Like being honest. Like I'm not out there saying I'm crushing it. I'm not saying I have like 25% ROI. Like I show how I'm doing, and certainly not crushing it to that degree. Like not certainly not like Doubt or Sahil or anything like that.
Yeah, I used to like writing about my losses more than my wins. Like I it's kind of funny because whenever I blogged back in the day and I had all my long sessions, I played so many tables. I'd always really enjoy the losing sessions and like, but whenever then when I started winning a ton, I felt a little embarrassed, like I'm like, you just sound like you're bragging repeatedly and
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know, I kind of I like showing the losses. I like showing both sides of things, and I feel like that's authentic. That's what's really happening, and that's a really cool way to talk about it.
Yeah. No, definitely don't feel great talking about wins. I did it last night and I really didn't. As soon as I sent it, I like felt really bad about it. It's like the second time I think or first time maybe I've ever done it. I was just excited. I tweeted. I didn't even. I feel really bad about it. I wish I didn't do it.
What do you mean?
Like I was like winning a lot. I tweeted like a screenshot, like first time ever, and like I kind of hate myself for it. It was like it was a definitely a brag. Like I even put hashtag brag. I didn't want to do it. I immediately regretted it. Thought about going hashtag delete life, but I kept it up there.
Yeah. Why'd you feel bad about doing it?
It's just not. I don't know. I think like bragging is probably something I pretty much hate out of everybody in
Hmm.
life, so I didn't want to do it myself.
I think it's kind of good for business though, in terms of people using you
Yeah.
as a resource for what you're saying. So if you're backing up the results if you're talking about it, now you're showing these good results. Well, I feel like that,
Yeah.
that affects your credibility level and makes people want to tune
Right.
more, want to listen more, want to pay more attention.
Yeah, and that's why I like showing the results for every week because it shows my losses, it shows my wins. There's a lot of people out there that might only show their wins or something. That's obviously absurd. And like people, look at the Roto Grinders rankings and like those are completely volume based. Like a lot of those people, or some of those people at least, they're definitely big losers.
Bang bang.
Yeah, I mean it's volume based, so
Like
it's really hard to tell.
who's a big loser on that
Oh,
list?
I have no
Bang
idea.
bang. Who's a big loser on the list, Poppy? What do you speculate? Who do you
Oh.
think's a big loser on the list?
Oh,
Yeah, bring the list up. What do you want me to do? Is E Hafner losing? Shout out to my boy E Hafner. Is he losing right now?
No way. No, are you kidding? He's up like a bazillion, isn't he?
We're good. I don't know. He could be. I fucking love some of these like 1, 2, 2, 4 full ring guys who now are like crushing DFS. I love it, man. It's so sick. It's awesome to see. I love it so much, man. Like these guys I know back in the day, these fucking nits from the full ring games
Hmm.
playing DFS now. Vinny Tinderella and who else? Scout 326.
Hmm.
Well, Scout's not in there. I'm taking that back. He's crazy. Who else is playing now? EHAF is. Petty Theft is. Who else do you know from poker? Who else you know from poker that plays DFS?
I'm sure Charter's out there listening. Christian Harder, shout out to him. He definitely plays. Bobby Abudi, I don't know if you know him.
I know his
Um,
brother very well.
he definitely he definitely plays. Obviously, Wiggins and Taylor KB. I don't know. They're like villains in poker for starting card runners, right? Which I think is absurd, but nevertheless, I know them, and yeah, I don't know. I think most people that I play poker with at least dabble. I don't know how many guys are really playing seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like guys go through spurts. They come in, they go out, they check it out, they hit a downswing, and, because I'm sure a lot of poker guys when they play, they probably play a little bit too much, and too much in terms of they gamble a little bit too high, and they go through some variance, and then they're like, oh fuck this, I don't feel as confident in my ability here, and then they go back to poker.
Yeah, and I think I heard some Max Steinberg say, shout out to Max, he's the man, but I heard him say something like poker players are accustomed to losing, right? Because like what percentage of your sessions as a professional poker player are you really winning? Maybe like 55 or 60. And then so when they start playing DFS and they start losing and they're like, well, I'm used to this. This is normal variance. And like maybe it's not. Maybe you're really not good at DFS or maybe you're
Hmm.
making a ton of mistakes and you're just like, well, I'm losing. I'm used to losing. No big deal.
No, it's a very interesting point by Max. I
Yeah.
think something. I think me and Bales were maybe talking about this. We were talking about what makes, why are poker players having success? Why do so many of them have success? It seems like playing DFS, and I definitely think that's one of the things. I think that, kind of getting good at poker, figuring out the way to get good at poker, and the experience of having that learning experience sort of translates over to DFS as well too. So you sort of already kind of figure out how to beat this game. Now it's a little bit easier to figure out how to beat this game for money. Whereas some people who approach it maybe without that gambling background, it's just this whole new, brand new sort of thing. So you have to learn the idea of bankroll management. You have to learn
Yeah.
the idea of shot taking, of bum hunting, of game selecting. Whereas us poker players kind of been doing it for so long, it's just
Hmm.
ingrained in our mind and it just crosses over so well.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think it's also like generational, like our generation, like people I know would never in a bazillion years pull a slot machine or play roulette. Like when I walk by like a slot machine in a casino, like I have a feeling in my stomach, like it makes me sick because I just know that these people have no chance whatsoever to win. And I think most people in our generation feel that way. And so when you know that you can win in something and you can gain an edge by working hard, it crosses over, obviously.
Guys in the chat, got a lot of comments out there tonight. What's going on, puppies? I see my boy David Huber out there. What's up, David? Jay Nandez. What's up, Jay Nandez? Josh Glad. He says E. Hafner's a god. Shout out to E. Hafner. Check raise you. Oh, wait. What up, kid? B Trail showing a lot of love this week. Much love, puppy. Torin Brody says motherfucking stallions in the house. Yes, sir. The stallion himself. The yardsticks in the house. Bang, bang. Jay Nand, or Dustin said, help me quite a bit. Cash game last year. Yeah, Dustin, man. Dustin's showing some love. He says, I
Good.
think he said the fantasy football edge is the best fantasy pod out there.
There it is. Stone nuts.
Much love to him, man. Jay Nandez says, what's his ROI?
I can tell you. I can bring it up. I don't mind. What do I care? What'd you say?
To like show off your ROI, is that a good thing to do?
Probably not, but I don't care.
Yeah, could be not. Yeah.
Okie doke.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to let people know how much you're winning or losing.
Yeah, like I said, I'm
But
not.
he's like a journalist. He kind of does this living, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's okay with doing. Basically, does it all the time.
Mhm.
That's cool.
You want to be a journalist now too?
No.
No. Okay. I mean, why not? Writing's fun. You ever write?
Yeah, I hate it. All these essays.
You don't. You
High
don't.
school.
You don't write like essays though. He's writing cool stuff, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't be a writer of like a sport or like something that I
Well, okay,
did.
let's add. So, were you into like writing? How'd you get into be a writer? Like, what made you want to do the whole journalism thing? Was it?
Yeah.
I always liked sports, and I was like, I always thought like, why not just work in sports? And I thought the best avenue for that was to be a writer. Like, I grew up watching, reading the like every night. I would read the Washington Post. Like, my parents would eat dinner, and I would read the Washington Post, like in the other room, the sports section. And like Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon were like writing for the Post then, and I loved the Bullets. I would read like every article about the Bullets. I thought I wanted to be like a beat reporter for a newspaper, and I went down that path for a little bit. Majored in journalism in college, took a couple of jobs that were like, pay you $24,000 a year, doing really shitty stuff when you first start, and then yeah, I don't know. I was just love to write about sports. I guess I thought that. I don't know. I guess I thought I kind of had a knack for it, and it's better than a real job. Like the last thing I could possibly ever think of is getting a real job. It sounds horrible.
Well, it is kind of a real job if you make money off of it for like a business.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, when I say real job, I mean like sitting in a cubicle, like
Yeah.
somebody else is like having you fill out like their Excel sheet, like an office space, like that. I can't do it.
what's the? I guess the wife's still okay with the job then, right? Obviously, she married you and she had a kid with you. She let you get her pregnant and stuff. So I mean, she gotta be feeling gotta be feeling good about the job, man. She's gonna.
Yeah, I actually talked about this on another podcast. Like, what are the odds you're gonna meet a girl that you're attracted to, and she's attracted? Like, obviously, I'm disgusting, right? So I'm attracted to her. She's attracted to me, and then I have this real like alternative lifestyle. Like when I met her, I had gotten laid off from the first job I ever had. I was working 3 days a week part time for some newspaper, and then I was living at Borgata like 3 to 4 days a week the rest of the time, and
Jesus.
that's when we met. And like, and yeah, so like it's really hard, I think, to find the right spouse, but it's important if you're going to live kind of an alternative lifestyle, and I guess my job makes me an alternative lifestyle.
I was living at a casino.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty shit.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
It is Atlantic City.
yeah, so I loved playing poker back then. I started playing 612, moved up to 1020 limit. Had a lot of success there. Moved up to 2040 limit, and had success there. Was getting the rooms comped or like $30 a night at that point. And I don't know, like I was young. It was fun. Like we didn't go outside in Atlantic City. I never went out. I never drank. I just kind of played poker and hung out with people that I knew from the games. Shout out to my boy Josh Weiser, definitely out there in the chat, aka BSauce 33 in the online poker tournament scene. Me and him used to do this together. Went to Penn State together and all that. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend living in a casino though.
I would not. Yeah, I think like when I go to Borgata, I don't leave. Like literally, don't leave the Borgata. Like I come out of the Borgata 4 days later. I'm like, where the fuck am I at right now, dude? Like, where do people go? Like, can you even go anywhere around the Borgata in Atlantic City? It's just I know there's other casinos and there's a
Right.
boardwalk or something, but
No, yeah, I wouldn't go to the boardwalk. I wouldn't go to other casinos. There's a nice beach in Brigantine that I go to. My wife's family actually has a house out there in Brigantine, which is really nice. And yeah, I recommend I mean, the restaurants in Borgata are like one of my favorite reasons to go there. They have awesome, awesome restaurants there.
Borgata's fucking sick. That's like nice. I went there and everyone, yeah, I've like heard things over the years, but when I went there for the first time, I was very impressed just how nice it was. It was, yeah, the restaurants were dope. The place was just looked really good. It looked like a Vegas casino sort of inside.
Yeah, and I'm like tilted, right? That like the action is not really in Atlantic City anymore, unless it's like a summer weekend. The action now is in Philly, which is more convenient for me. But like,
Right.
I thought it was kind of cool that all the action was in one place. It was always in Atlantic City. That's where everybody was. Now I can go to Harris Chester, Sugar House, Park, Sands, Maryland Live, like Delaware Park, like, and there's games are spread out
Hmm.
all over the place. So I kind of like the way it used to be.
I'm sure Atlantic City likes the way it used to be too, because now
Yeah,
Atlantic City is doing pretty fucking struggling because now
yeah.
they were all that traffic they're getting from Philly down that drove down there now, or
Yeah.
now they're, those guys don't need to go to Atlantic City anymore. So it definitely is a big hit for New Jersey over there.
Yeah, all the best games are in Philly now, for sure.
You play a lot of poker still?
During the football season, I play 0 hours of poker. When it's not football season, I'll play maybe once or twice, maybe once a week. I'll play some cash, and then I'll probably play 2, 3, 4 tournaments a year, something like that.
But during NFL, you're just watching tape during the week or something. What's your process like, kid?
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty inefficient use of time to just sit down and watch games. First of all, there's no way you could watch every game, even if you watch them in the condensed. And I think if you're just sitting there watching games, you don't really get a lot out of it. I'm more looking for stuff with usage, like how coaches are using players.
Hmm.
I don't consider myself to be any kind of talent evaluator whatsoever. I'm trying to evaluate how players are going to be used. So if they're going to be used on third down, if this running back isn't going to play at the goal line, if this wide receiver isn't a target for his quarterback in the red zone, if this wide receiver is always the first read, all kinds of stuff like that I'm trying to pick up on. And yeah, I mean, I just write so much. I have so many articles, and then keeping up with the news, like that's my main role at Fantasy Labs. There's just a constant influx of news for the NFL. And so my job is just take that piece of news and put a spin on it for daily fantasy players. And that's what I did for Roto World too. That's like kind of my wheelhouse.
Interesting. I feel like a lot of this stuff would be extremely valuable to, like, knowing all those things in terms of who's getting targets on third down and who's in the red zone, who's getting these snaps,
Yeah.
and I feel like that
That's
would
all
be.
pretty available.
Is it all pretty available? Is it all like out there and with different programs,
Yeah,
stuff like that?
with like inexpensive subscriptions, you can get a lot of that data from a lot of different sites.
Really?
Yeah.
So then why do you do it then?
Oh, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't sit there and watch it and do it. I might go to these sites and kind of pull stuff that I think is interesting and write about it or whatever.
Hmm.
Make sure I'm aware of it.
That's kind of interesting. Is there is there a certain, I guess, style or certain maybe stats or certain things that you like to focus on more? Is it just usage that you like to focus on the most in terms of your writing, or are there other little small things that maybe don't get enough coverage or get enough exposure that maybe you like to focus on during the NFL season and follow along with?
I think my best thing is keeping on top of the news. I think that's why people follow me. I think that's why people want to read stuff like if there's anybody hurt in the league, if anybody's not going to play, how this guy is going to be used. I think people hopefully come to me for the answers on that. So yeah, I think that's my best thing. There's definitely people that are better at projecting stats, definitely better at people that are better at evaluating talent. So yeah, I try to stay in my wheelhouse. That's kind of GTO Twitter, I think. Stay in your wheelhouse, even if it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, obviously I'm not gonna like start talking about politics on Twitter, but even within my, obviously I'm only talking about fantasy football. Like I'm not all of a sudden gonna say I watched tape on this guy and oh man, wait till you guys see this guy in the NFL. That's just not me.
Yeah, I feel like once certain people get an audience on Twitter, they don't stay in that pocket. They kind of like stepping outside the pocket. They like talking about politics, or they start talking about, I guess there's two different ways to go upon it. You could do both, and I can understand doing both, or you can just kind of focus on one thing and just try to crush it as hard as you can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I try to keep my Twitter like I actually struggle with this. I know you like interact with everybody who tweets at you on Twitter. I kind of view my Twitter as an information source, not like interaction or like conversation piece. So if somebody clicks on my Twitter and they want to scroll back, it's not like a bunch of me like interacting with people being like, "Hey, Poppy, what's going on?" It's like, "Hey, here's some links to what I've done. Here's some things that I'm thinking." And I'm not saying one way is better or the other. I just think that works for me. But shout out to anybody who like tweets at me and I don't respond. I do kind of feel bad.
Yeah, especially on desktop, it's easier. But I mean, on like, I've just kind of accepted that if you're only viewing my Twitter on your phone, it's just like, yeah, it's going to be pretty much impossible to really find. And I guess one way you can kind of hack that is by including photos in certain posts, so that way you can go through media and then you can scroll through the pictures and you can
Yeah.
follow it that way. But I know there's some merit to putting more thought into that, and I kind of like that too. But at the same time, for yourself, if you're also putting yourself out there on a personal level with your podcast and with the writing, I feel like fans are going to want to get in touch with you and they're going to want to ask you questions. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, man. It seems like you should engage with a couple of them, man. I don't know,
I
man.
know.
Show them some love, Poppy.
Uh, I ask if people are like really have like a question, like I don't answer like start or sit, like because there's so much information out there. I understand they want my opinion, but like a lot of these decisions are like 52-48 or like
I
55-45, and
love
like
that saying, man.
it really is. Like, so like, you guys can make your own decision when it's that close. There's so much information out there. If people have like a more high level like strategy question, I always invite them to email me, AJL201 at Yahoo. If you guys have like a higher level, if you want to ask me if you should take Alshon Jeffrey or T.Y. Hilton in the second round, like I'm just snap ignoring.
Can you explain like all those numbers,
Which ones?
like the
52-48?
Yeah.
Did you get that from me?
What is all that?
It basically, it's really hard to make the wrong decision, is what I'm
Did you
trying
get
to
that
say.
from me?
No, I don't think so.
Where did you get that from? I'm the one who started saying it on this. I feel like I popularized
Oh,
52-48.
you think you're the first one to ever say it was a
No, who else
52-48?
is saying 52-4? Really? People start saying 52-48?
Oh, is that just like a percentage thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it, I
See,
get it.
my little brother asks the questions. I'm sure a lot of people out there have too. This is kind of good. He's like, "What's Borgata?" I'm like, people probably are wondering. That's a good question. I mean, 50. That's a fair question. What you just said. I mean, most people are probably like, "Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what that means." Also, so
It just means it's really, really close, and me telling them isn't going to help. I'll be
Right.
wrong. I'll be wrong just as often as they'll be right.
it's kind of like it's in poker equivalent. Is that like, let's say your ex-girlfriend. Let's say you get back together with her. She's not watching, is she? No. Weird if she's watching.
It'd be weird if you.
Okay, so let's say your ex-girlfriend. Let's say you're gonna get back together with her.
Alright.
On the good or bad side of things, it's probably not going to be good either way, 52-48. It's probably going to be more like 80-20.
Yeah.
Whereas, let's say that we're going to go get pizza or a burger tonight, 52-48. Either way, it's a win-win situation. You can't really make a wrong choice.
I heard pizza.
Yeah,
happening now?
okay.
Is this happening?
I want to be 17 again, Adam. Can you imagine? Man, I just can't imagine being 17, man. You got the whole world ahead of you. You got all this opportunity, all this
Yeah.
excitement.
I try. I really like. I'm like kind of a grass is always greener guy.
Yeah, me
Like
too, yeah.
when I'm like when I was like playing poker a lot and like I was like going to EPT or whatever, I was like, oh, what am I doing? I should be at home, with my girlfriend and my friends, drinking beer and having fun. And then when I'm doing that, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm wasting my life drinking beer. I should be out there in Barcelona or whatever playing poker. It's like I can never kind of find that meaning, but I know that about myself now, so it doesn't like I really don't have regrets about anything like grass is greener stuff.
That's like not a pessimistic view or an optimistic view. Like more somewhere in between that, but more shifting towards the optimism.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to call it because it's like really weird because you're like thinking one way when you're not doing it, but when you're doing it, you want to do it the other way. It's not wishy-washy, but somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you said there, young stallion, but but that said, like that's why like the Bill Perkins podcast like blew my mind. I was like I should be spending more money. Like this guy is like, yeah, like you're gonna like be old. You're not gonna be able to spend like whatever. I don't have very much money at all. I want like he motivated me to like fucking spend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that Perkins podcast. Can you imagine me and little bro bring little bro for the next Perkins episode, man? Fuck that. Let little bro sit in on that one, dude. That'd be fun, man. That guy's a legend, man.
I'm in. When is this happening?
I'm not sure what you just said, little stallion. Oh my god, I love it, man. You got any nicknames for Adam for yourself?
No,
The
no, not
Leviathan.
everything.
The Leviathan.
The Leviathan?
Yeah.
Biblical,
it's kinda
right?
like
I'm not a very religious man.
Yeah, the Leviathan. Like you're this epic shark.
Definitely not.
No. What's your thoughts on the current DFS landscape? We had a lot, mainly these high stakes guys on this week. Obviously, those guys are all for what's most EV for them, what's going to maximize their own. It's kind of the same lines and the same outlook on things. But obviously, there's other side of the fantasy world that is very much not. They want this fair, I don't know. I've had enough of this conversation with these people on fucking 2+2 for this week. But I'm curious, what's your thoughts on that from where your perspective is?
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, like if I was just concerned about maximizing my short-term earning, I wouldn't, talk about who I like. But I take the long view for sure and think that's way better. For me, like I'm all about game selection, right? So if you think because a commercial told you so that you're going to turn $20 into a million, like you're insane. You know what I mean? Like, so I encourage people to set their goals way, way lower. I encourage them to play a $20 double up, that single entry. I encourage them to play a single entry. Like, and people want to say, I hate mass multi-entry. I hate mass multi-entry. Two things with that. First, I could max enter everything. I would be a massive, massive loser. And people think that you can just max enter everything and start printing money. And then I tell them, why don't you do it? And they're like, well, I don't have time. I don't have money. I'm like, okay, how about there's a 25-cent tournament on DraftKings. You max enter this 25-cent tournament on DraftKings for a month. If you can turn a profit, we'll have a side bet or whatever. If you can turn a profit, then you win the side bet. You know what I mean? And everybody's going to lose. Yeah, everybody's going to lose. I'll give you the bet. It's going to be really hard to max enter this and turn a profit.
How many max? What's the max entry?
I assume it's 150 entries, so 150 times 25 cents.
Every day at NFL or what?
There's one. There's baseball, and there's one weekly for football. There's one for every NBA main slate. Yeah, it's called the Quarter Arcade.
That'd be kind of fun. I mean, I'd kind of be. I gotta. Let me look at some numbers first on that one. But
yeah, no, I'm happy to make. I'm into prop betting.
It sounds kind of fun to just try. I don't know. It sounds like fun. I mean,
yeah. So if you can turn a profit over the course of a month, I would be impressed. It's really hard to do so when you're max earning. So that's the first thing. Like, max entering doesn't mean you print. And second of all, like, people like trying to turn 20 into a million, right? If you're not trying to grind or whatever, you're like, hey, I'm going to turn 3 into a million. I'm going to turn 20 into a million. The problem is the sites aren't able to support these massive prize pools if they're not allowing mass multi-entry. So, you have to take both sides of it. So for me, if people are complaining all the time, play a different tournament, play the single entry, and there's tons of them. Play head to head, play
a smaller site.
Yeah, do anything. Like, you don't have to play the Millie Maker if you're pissed off about it. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of get frustrated with that, but people are gonna say I'm biased because I work with DraftKings, and that's fine. But I'm pretty sure I would have this take anyways. Like, I'm always about taking ownership of your own ROI, take ownership of what happens to you yourself. I'm not gonna sit there and blame Sahil, who's playing within the rules, for me not being able to profit. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it seems like they're. I don't even know what the guys are angry about anymore, man. I can't imagine dealing with. I would stop reading the forums in DFS if I was a regular DFS guy, because it's just so much of this, like, how can we prevent these 10K heads up, the 10K, the high stakes guys of making all the money at the low. I'm not sure exactly what people are pissed about, really. I don't know. It seems like if you're, I don't know.
Well, like, Dot was like, he was fine with entry limits. You know what I mean? And, like, maybe that's an idea. I really don't know, but for someone like him to say, hey, I'm fine with entry limits is cool. Like, because if he had entry limits, he obviously wouldn't be playing the $1, the $2, the $5 levels. He'd have to step it up and play only higher stakes. So maybe that's an answer. But yeah, I don't know. The question of whether people should be sitting 10K heads up and also $1 heads up, that's more fair. I might have a bigger issue with that than I do the whole mass multi-entry thing. Just makes me insane.
You know this guy Notorious?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Derek Farnsworth?
Yeah, he just followed me on Twitter probably from your post, but he helped me out so much last year. Thank you, Poppy. You helped me win a bunch of money at Daily Fantasy Sports. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, he's the man. Actually,
if he's watching, thank you, man.
Me, him, and Wiggins did a basketball podcast last year together. We did it 3 times a week in the morning. It was awesome.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, he puts out a lot of. I mean, I felt like the stuff on Roto Grinder is just so good, man.
Yeah, it is.
That stuff's it's like informative. It's fun. It like kind of gives you something. And I guess the thing I found is that, if you're reading all this content, so many people have these suggestions. So like, let's say you have, like a value play or this play. So there'll be like 5 or 6 or 7 if you read a lot of sources, and then it's kind of you're back in square one where you're trying to figure out, okay, like which one should I go with, or which one of these should I pick? So it's almost like if you take in too much of the content, now you're like, you got this, you got that. And that makes sense why you'd say maybe you're not, you're inclined, you don't mind talking about your own stuff because they're taking in yours, they're taking in here, they got here, you got the projections, you got this, you got that. Yeah. So it's kind of so much in one place.
Yeah, and my thing, I try to keep to this, but like I try to give people information that they can use to build their own lineups, right? Like my goal isn't to say, here are the best value plays on this slate. Like here's my favorite guys at 3K or whatever. I try to give them information like, hey, Tajay Sharp's been playing X percent of the snaps with the first team offense. Then you guys can do with that information what you will. I'm not saying, like you have to play Tajay Sharp. I'm just giving you some information.
I feel like you could, like, I'm surprised you don't play more tournaments. That if like all this stuff, and if you're like, I feel like this was like the kind of stuff you need to know to be able to find these type of contrarian plays in tournaments to have success there.
Yeah, I have a hard time managing a lot of lineups, first of all. It kind of overwhelms me. So I like to play 1, 2, 3 lineups per slate at most. And the other thing is, like, I don't know. I guess even though I know it's the right thing to do, I have a hard time wrapping my head around, I know this guy is a better play, but I'm going to play this guy because he's going to be less owned. Like I still, after all this time, still have have a hard time wrapping my head around that. And I don't know. I tried to qualify for the DraftKings Live Final last year, so I was making like super contrarian lineups, and I think I probably went overboard. Just totally bricked out with like 8K, trying to qualify for the live final. And yeah, so like this year I made a resolution to myself. I'm not going to try to qualify for the live final.
Yes.
I'm going to try to go. I'm going to try to go as a +1. That's the GTO strategy right there.
Bale said that yesterday.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you don't qualify. You go with someone. I'm like, yeah, I found that out later. Like, bro, the plan is you find friends that are going to the finals and they take you with them. Yes,
exactly.
That's exactly how you do it, man. How does that? So how does it work? So you work for DraftKings? So how does that relationship work between the two of you guys then?
Yeah, so like similar to Peter and a couple other guys, we're basically like brand ambassador, and then they also have like a content arm called DK Playbook that I write some articles for, and then they sponsor the podcast that we do. So yeah, I mean I'm just an independent contractor in the space. But yeah, I mean Fantasy Labs and DraftKings I would say are the main places that I'm working at right now.
So people don't think if you win money, they're not thinking you're cheating, or you're not thinking you're.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue, but I think people that know me or whatever, like, or people like who are realistic about the situation know that there would be like no incentive for DraftKings to let me cheat. I mean, I have like no, like it's just insane. Like there would never be anything close to that could ever happen. I don't even know how it would happen.
Special Karen in the chat says, Joey, for a longtime poker player, how easy is it to get into DFS? Is there a huge skill discrepancy between amateurs and pros like in poker, or is it in its infancy enough that I can give it a shot? From the outside, it looks quite saturated and dominated by pros, therefore making it less appealing to even attempt entering.
I mean, first of all, NFL is not dominated by pros. There's so many contests. It's insane. Insane. I know you probably game select a lot because that's obviously like what sharp people are going to do. And like you could easily get games against people that are not the best. So yeah, I think specifically for NFL, I would say amateurs have a great shot.
Yeah, I think so too. There's so much. What would you suggest? So let's say like you got a guy, you got special Karen in the chat, Karan, special Karan in the chat. What would you recommend they play? I mean, no, like I think like double ups or head to head maybe, but it's not very glamorous playing double ups. I mean, like playing the 100,000 person double up, you win, put in 10, you win 20. I mean, not that.
Yeah, so nobody out there is going to be like, hey, I want to turn this $5 into $9 today, But I think that's the best way to start to kind of give yourself some confidence and see what people are thinking. Like, I don't play that many tournaments. I just try to get a very high volume amount of cash games, Like I'll just post head-to-heads and just let people take them for weeks or days or whatever it is. And yeah, I mean, if you get enough volume, I think there's glamour in, I'm sure, Dowd or whoever else is, has 20K or whatever. And in head-to-heads, there's certainly glamour in turning 20K into, 38K in a night or whatever.
What do you think about suggesting people start off at those smaller sites? They don't really, like, not FanDuel, not at Wabi. I don't know if you can you drive people to other sites besides DraftKings if you're like, if you're a DraftKings guy?
It's probably against the TOS, but I honestly I only play DK and FanDuel. Like I don't know. I don't mess. A lot of other people do. I think people do it in an effort to find softer games, and maybe there are. I really have no idea.
Yeah, it might be against TOS. Might be in the DraftKings. You got a contract you sign with them or something like that?
definitely against independent contractor agreement. Yep.
What does that mean? You can't.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna, I can't say, hey, you go play on FanDuel. Yeah, obviously.
Oh, okay. I never signed a contract. I don't know, man. I never had one of these independent contractor. Anytime someone talks contract with me, I'm like, nah, I'm straight. Like I don't want to do anything. Woo, 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 whatever. So, did you say your ROI yet? They're still waiting for the ROI.
Oh yeah,
They
okay.
still,
Yeah.
they
So in
still want to calm
NFL,
down, guys. He's getting the ROI. Calm down, calm down.
yeah,
Calm
every
down.
relax. And NFL 50-50, 10.33% ROI. Head to head 6.20 ROI, GPP 8.98. Qualifier negative
Bang
88.94.
bang.
Um, that's for NFL. And then I think I've been better in NBA. Let me check here. NBA double up 7% ROI, head to head 10.31% ROI, GPP and NBA negative 22.73.
Hmm.
I've actually done well in leagues. Leagues are like 5, 3, 5, 10 man. In NBA, I have 11.79 there. So
What was the league considered? Like the 10-person contest?
either like 3, 5, 10, 20. Yeah, I like playing those. I don't know. I've definitely have a goal to play more of those.
Why are they called leagues? I know they're called leagues.
That's just how RotoTracker identifies them. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I played a bunch of those last year. So are these ROI numbers any good? Jack was asking. Yeah.
It doesn't look.
So it's really hard to compare, right? Because I don't know. Nobody else probably reveals their data, right? So I don't really know.
I mean, if you're like making money, yeah, I don't. I actually, that's a great question.
No one
I'm not
ever
sure.
does it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not
So,
like, yeah, it's not
you
like.
don't really know if like lower is better or not.
No, it's always higher's always better.
Higher is always better in
And then
this.
it's just about figuring out where the number falls in line and like what the best players are winning. So the best players have.
Who is the best player at DFS?
Nobody knows, right? No one really knows.
Right?
You never really know
No
who's.
one shows.
I mean, it's hard to not say Sahel at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for me, like I have my head-to-head stats. I mean, I have my worst numbers are against Empire by far. So I guess for me, Empire's the best, but I don't know.
Yeah, some people. I think Ryan was saying he thought Empire Maker was definitely one of the best people that's playing DFS right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have like Empire's overall stats. I have his stats when he plays me, and he, has been beating the shit out of me. So it is what it is.
Does he sit you or you sit him?
I don't really sit anybody, so yeah, he sits me, but not that often, I don't think.
At what stakes is he sitting you at?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, what's he? He's scrolling through the lobby looking for
No,
looking
no,
for the
I'm,
Leviathan. Like, oh fuck, take his action. Like,
I think when he decides he wants to play, he just takes everybody's games. He doesn't care who it is. I think I don't know. I have a pretty bad record against AE Jones. Here we go. Empire Maker, I've only played 9 times. He's beaten me 6, and the average buy-in was 167.44.
Oh, okay. So a couple hundreds probably, and a couple
Yeah,
somethings or whatever. So
yeah.
I guess going to NFL. What's your plan? Is to just kind of keep pumping out content, keep pumping out the podcast, pump out the articles, and try to turn a solid profit here at DFS.
Yeah, like I have a really packed schedule. Like we're doing some exciting things with labs, obviously doing some exciting things with DK Playbook podcast. And then I'm doing like these like 1 hour shows that I'm doing for a couple places. So yeah, I'll be super busy, but I mean it's I mean, like I said, it's not really work. I would never like call it work. I don't know. I feel like that's like
Not
mean to
work, but
people.
it's still like doing things. Like even though I don't consider what I do, like I do a bunch of cool stuff. It's not work, but it's still like it still takes up a lot of mental focus, takes up your energy and stuff like that. Do you have one main thing that you think you focus more on than anything else, or do you like something that you might prioritize in your mind, even if it's slightly above the other things?
Um, just staying on top of the news. I mean, that's just like what people know me for. That's what people use me for. I think that's the most important thing I can do for people is to stay on top and bring them like go through all the news, which most of it is just irrelevant bullshit and noise, and actually get through and find the stuff that actually matters to them when they're making lineups. I mean, that's always going to be my number one priority for sure. Well, what's your plan? Are you going to play this year?
I don't know. Now I got you, kid. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna play. I don't know, man. You're putting all this good information out there for people. Like, I mean, I feel like you're probably one of the best people to follow right now if you're playing DFS. Even if you like NFL, dude, I feel like you're just like, that's like your that. I mean, who else is really? Is there a lot of people that do that kind of stuff in NFL?
Yeah, obviously there's a ton of people tweeting about NFL. I think you're having Evan on tomorrow. Like I worked with Evan at Roto World for 6 years. I mean, he's like way better than me at evaluating NFL players and situations. Like he's just like a literal genius. So I think he would be the number one person I would follow for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing good stuff. I don't know how many of them are like on top of the news 24/7, but there's a lot of people doing really good stuff with data that I could never dream of doing, like
Mm-hmm.
tons of like spreadsheet correlation stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm gonna play this year. I might play. I want to play the GBPs. I don't want to play the cash games anymore because
Yeah.
they're kind of like.
Well, you have all the money anyway. You have all the Bovada money anyway. What do you have to play cash games for?
I don't even know why. Like, I feel, I was thinking about this today. Like, Dank was talking to me. Dank texted me, and he was like, "Are you gonna fire big on week 1?" I'm like, I don't even like want to play that. Like, I'm happy playing like the quarter. Like, I don't know. I don't really like. It's all sort of the same to me, really. When I think about playing DFS, playing the tournaments, it's all like the same thing. They're all the same tournament for the most part. I just kind of want to play and just like create some lineups and sort of see what happens. I don't really want to play it for like
Exactly.
try to win this money or that money or something like that.
And that's 95% of the field, right? Like it's so much fun. Like even like DK has like these free rolls that I qualify for because I play or whatever. And like I might have literally $0 invested and I'm still sitting like golf today. I'm in some free roll. I have zero of my own dollars invested. And I have golf on TV. I have the scoring app on my phone. It's just fun for, $0. It's just like it's just fun to sweat and to play. I mean, and that's really, I think, where where the industry is going. It's definitely going away from cash games, definitely going towards GPPs and kind of similar to poker, I guess.
Stop it. I hope not. I hope not, motherfucker. Fuck, man. I know. I mean, listen, I can kind of understand it, at poker. I can understand. I can understand it at DFS. I can understand it at poker to an extent, but I don't know. You got the new site potentially coming out here. Run it once. You got run it once poker potentially coming out here one day. So.
Oh wow, you've already got the hat. You're already repping the brand. Huh?
Listen, man, I gotta show you this box they sent me. I just got it. My little bro. Here's why I can't. He brought me this box from Run It Once. It's like every single piece of, because I had Phil Gaffon on the podcast, and I told him like I love their clothes. They're sick. I love wearing the hat. They sent me one of everything they have, man.
That's
Shirts,
awesome.
hoodies, the hats. I'm like, man, these are dope, dude. These are sick.
Yeah, so you're optimistic about that becoming viable competition?
Maybe down the road, it'll be something. It'll be something for players to play, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be like just fun. Some of the best players, some of the most well-known players involved with the site. I think, hopefully it stays clean, but that's the only thing that I think you'd have to worry about is, a lot of money's potentially involved, and a poker site, running a poker site, a lot of money potentially involved in that. People became billionaires from some of these sites. So when you factor in there's hundreds of millions of dollars up for grabs, then a lot of doors out there for some unethical behavior to start taking place.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel like Phil has a lot of trust in the community, though. You know what I mean?
ton of it, yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of want to see who's behind it, who's working with, who's kind of the people that are making the decisions for the company. So it's be interesting.
Yeah.
Be
So I
very
guess you're not. I guess you're not moving money to Ignition then.
I don't know. I'm kind of focusing. I like the creating content where I've been writing a lot for my site, my website, One Poker Life. Got this thing called the GTO Club that I've been running.
Yeah. What the hell is that? Because I feel like my life is kind of a mess. So what is the GTO Club?
The GTO Club. It's a membership club, man. It's a membership club for people, group of people. I always wanted to put like a group of people together who all want to work hard, who all want to put in hours. They're trying to get better at things. They can help motivate each other. They can help give ideas to each other. So yeah, it's a group of people. I think we got 12 official, 14 unofficial members in there right now. And yeah, it's fun. I'm writing out a lot of different content just about different things pertaining to bettering your mindset or poker. So it's kind of people working on their poker game, trying to get better, trying to be motivated, trying to work out, trying to be productive. Like I'm trying to put in 16-hour days, so like I'm trying to set the lead for things. And yeah, it's just trying to be efficient GTO people, man. Trying to live GTO, man. Try to be better versions of yourself, sort of thing.
I feel like I need that. I don't know.
Man, you're doing a lot of stuff, kid. I don't fuck's sakes, man. You're like,
I just hate my eating and my exercise, and
that's the biggest thing. Yeah. Ever since I started the group, I've been researching everything about diet, everything about working out. I changed my entire diet around. I got a personal trainer with a guy I recently had the podcast, Mike Vacanti. It was best decision I ever made in my entire life. His workouts are so fucking sick. Like I work out so much harder with these workouts than I've worked out in the past 7 years. So it's been a great decision for all. Pretty much all decisions have been pretty good. So it's been fun. It's just fun to do. You work with people and help them be more efficient and more effective in whatever it is they want to do. So
sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting. It's kind of instead of playing so much poker, kind of been spending time doing that. So, see what else we got here. Guys in the chat, if you guys have some comments, some questions you want to have too, let's see what people say. I've learned not to fall in love with the fucking idiot set. Yeah, you don't want to fall in love with the fucking idiot set, Waluski. That's for sure. You know what the fucking idiot set is, Adam?
No.
It's when you have bottom set on PLO.
Yeah, I don't play much PLO. But yeah, I can imagine bottom set is probably a hand that gets you in trouble a lot.
Right, and you feel like a fucking idiot. Exactly. You put a lot of money. Exactly. Fucking idiot said. You put a lot of money in, you're like, fucking idiot. I feel like a fucking idiot. I knew I should have not put that money in. And yeah, that's why it's called the fucking idiot set. Mexican straight, obviously. Mexican straight, they have that at No Limit Hold'em. It's the third or worst straight. When there's more than 3 or more straights possible on board, you got the third or worst straight. You got Mexico. Right. You know, you never want to be... You know, whenever you escape, whenever you end up winning the hand, it's like you escaped across the border back to the United States. You know, it's when you get out of the hand unscathed. So I didn't make that up, guys. You know, Mexicans, please don't send me any messages. I didn't make that up. Shout out to my boy. Yeah, I've called him a couple names now. I forgot his actual real name, but he's a guy I met in San Diego. So you do any traveling? What else do you do? You do any? You have any?
Love traveling. It's like my favorite thing to do. Not during football. I mean, I've probably not been as many places as you, but I've been to a lot of places. I love it. I was just in Iceland in July. Was awesome. Went to like a long, not that long ago, but went with BSauce 33 to EPT Prague and EPT Copenhagen, which were both awesome trips. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I love traveling. Open for ideas for places to go. I mean, I just love it. New Zealand, I went to for 10 days, was awesome. Yeah.
Do you go with your girlfriend or your wife when you travel, or you go kind of with other friends?
Yeah, so I used to take like poker trips, which is like probably my favorite thing to do. Like go somewhere that has either cash or a tournament and just go play and also explore the city. That was like awesome. But yeah, now I don't have as much time for that with the kid. Not because I'm married, but mostly because of our son. But yeah, like we'd still take a trip, me and my wife, at least 1 or 2 big trips a year. That's awesome. I mean, I just love. Like Bill Perkins said, man, like I just want to blow all my money on traveling. It's awesome.
What's your foreign city exploration GTO strategy? Because I feel like I struggle with that greatly. Anytime I'm in a foreign, I just don't like know how to properly explore it. I feel like I end up just like working in my hotel room and like doing things there. I don't know.
So I would never take a guided tour, right? Like people like sign up for these like tours and you go see all the sites. Like I don't go to museums. I was like at the Louvre or whatever. I didn't even want to go in. Like I don't even care about all that stuff. I want to experience like going to a bar and see what that's like in X city, or I want to go play basketball in some weird city. I was in Rio, like we like found ourselves in a favela or something like that. Just like doing like weird things. So yeah, I was experience the culture, not try to see every site. I think is GTO.
Week 1 hot takes. Chat wants to know Dustin Norton and Jack Journey.
Week 1 hot takes.
Week 1 hot takes. Bears are gonna fucking suck. All right, shout out to the Bears.
Yeah, I don't think that's that hot, but yeah, I do think that Brock and the Brock Ness monster, Fuller and Hopkins are all in good spots. I think a hot take might be that Brandon Cooks will have a bad game against Oakland, who has an underrated defense, and I think Brandon Cooks' touchdown equity is way lower than people realize. Talked about that on the podcast a little bit. Yeah, I think Kristen Michael will be a better play than Thomas Rawls. I don't know if people are onto that yet. I don't know. I have a couple hot season long takes. I have two really hot season long takes that are just unlikely to happen, but they're hot at least, and that's Kirk Cousins leads the NFL in pass yards, and Jarvis Landry sets the NFL record for most receptions in a season, and then also Dante Moncrief top 5 NFL fantasy wide receiver this year. So those are my three super hot takes. I don't want to talk too much Strat on here. You don't care about Strat.
I mean, they're kind of interesting stuff. I mean, that's still like I'm getting into NFL season now. I'm still in NBA mode and stuff like that. So I've been taking more. Usually the podcast obviously is more about the person, lifestyle, and mindset. Not as much strategic stuff, but I enjoy talking about these stuff too. This is pretty fun. I'm trying to.
You probably I can imagine you being like, this is gonna be a really good idea. I'm gonna talk about DFS 5 days in a row, and now you're doing it. You're like, God, I can't believe I'm talking about DFS 5 days in a row.
I mean, listen, it would be bad if like I weren't having people I knew on. Okay, like if this was like 5 random people I had absolutely no idea who they were, and like I vaguely knew them. It would be bad, but like I get Ryan on, I get Bales on, I get Asani on. Like we play we got poker connections. Like it's not like you're this complete fucking guy who doesn't know anything about poker, and like I don't know much about what you're doing. So and you watch the podcast, so it's like not a complete random sort of thing. So, but yeah, I was kind of thinking that the other day. I was like, man, there's a lot of DFS to take. That's why I wanted to do it before week 1. Like before week 1, because I was like, oh, it's be perfect time. I can like get right into it. I'll be pumped up. Now I gotta wait another fucking week. I'm like tilted. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be fired up. I'm excited for it to start because I've been losing interest in NFL. I feel like past couple of years, just not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
Just more interested in kind of what I've been doing with my own life. So I feel like this will be a cool way to kind of get me back re-engaged with NFL, get me back into DFS, get me, a lot of my audience plays DFS too, and they're into DFS and sports. So it's kind of, it's like, I think it's pretty fun.
I mean, yeah, I would watch 0 football games if I wasn't playing fantasy. That's for sure.
What would you be doing?
Hopefully like spending time with, doing something productive. I don't know. I love playing basketball. I love playing tennis. I love being outside.
Tennis?
Oh yeah, I love tennis.
You play ball still?
Tennis is hard to play.
Yeah, I love playing basketball. I don't play as much anymore, but when I was growing up, I played every day. I mean, I know you just kind of picked it up recently. Like, are you gonna be in Nashville, by the way, for the week 1 party?
No, I've heard about this week 1 party. I don't know. Maybe I should go down. I don't know what it's all about. What's the deal with it?
It's like a joint party between DraftKings and Roto Grinders. It's in Nashville, so like everybody, a lot of Roto Grinders guys will be there. All the DK guys will be there, and then a bunch of players who like won trips or whatever will be there. And yeah, everybody just hangs out. I think there's like a beer pong tournament. I want to play, like, I'm trying to get people to play actual basketball. It's hard to round up these troops to play actual basketball, but I'm trying.
Sani's in.
Is he? I didn't know he played. Yeah.
He said he hasn't played for 2.5 years, and he thinks he can handle me in a one-on-one game. I'm like, I mean, I'm ready, puppy. But yeah, he used to play a lot back in the day. He played. I think he played in college somewhere.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
I was about to just make a prop bet offer, but now that I know he played in college, I certainly won't be doing that.
Yeah, I think he played Sauce Bensalski with like a glove on one hand. Yeah, like a mitten or something, like a cooking glove or something like that. I believe it was. Yeah, it was something that way. Yeah. So, Sports Front. I like this guy, Sports Front, man. Worst NFL pod Leviton has been on. Let's bang some touts here.
Worst NFL pod? No, man. I'm not gonna bang anybody. Like, I'm not here to bang anybody. Let's say that.
What makes like a bad NFL pod anyway?
Yeah, I think if people don't really know what they're talking about, like if somebody asks me, like, what do you think about Josh Gordon in week 1? And I'm like, well, Josh Gordon's suspended, so I think he's going to be like sitting his ass on the bench, like that would make for a bad podcast. But these days, like, people doing podcasts don't say stuff like that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like if you're doing NFL podcasts and you have no fucking, like, yeah, I mean.
What do you do?
What
he was smoking weed. Smoking weed multiple times.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
He's a fucking idiot. Yeah.
He's gotta be careful, young stallion. I feel like you might be headed down that path based on your demeanor here tonight.
Hell no.
Nah, he's drug free. Dude, we got funny stories. We're at Coachella.
15 and sober, man.
All right, calm down. We were at Coachella 2 years ago. 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Yeah, we were at Coachella 2 years ago. He's dancing. Some girl comes up to him. He's wearing the Spirit hood, back there, the little hood on. And she starts dancing with him. She's like, man, what are you on? He looks at her, stone fit. I'm 15 and I'm sober. She turns around. She looks at him. She walks away. I'm like, what the fuck did you say that for, dude? He's like, what? She asked me what I'm on. I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you? No, he is not a drug user, dude. This kid is.
He kind of reminds me of the kid in Alpha Dog who gets kidnapped. You know what I'm talking about?
What the fuck is that?
Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah, this little skinny
No.
kid. It's just Timberlake's in that movie, right?
Timberlake puts on a tour de force. It's an amazing movie. One of the most underrated movies of our generation. And yeah, they kidnapped this kid who's like, he's supposed to be 15 or 16 or whatever. Like he doesn't really drink, he doesn't really smoke. And he's like with these kids, with these like older kids. This kind of reminds me of that.
Little bro. Yeah, I feel like he hasn't been corrupted quite yet. He's like, he's due for some. You don't think so? No?
Why?
Why are you due for corruption? Not bad.
Not good either.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah. You got a question you want to ask Adam?
What do you think about DFS right now? What's going on in the game? What do you think is really actually happening?
Again, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but what I will say is that I was pretty nervous when like the New York legislation looked like it wasn't going to go through. I thought that, obviously having been through Black Friday or whatever, it felt somewhat similar. Like the generation above us doesn't really understand that we want to use Uber, we want to use Airbnb, we want to play DFS, we don't want to book hotels and hail taxis and whatever. And I didn't think that they understood that to the point where they could get legislation passed. So I was super nervous. I was like, what am I going to do next? What can I do? And yeah, to see them get it passed was just like so encouraging. And I think that New York will set a precedent for a lot of other states. And yeah, just like super optimistic now about DFS long term. And obviously, like a lot of these industries that are like new have potholes like early going. But then end up being like really awesome. So yeah, I'm super optimistic, and I think like obviously I got in at the right time. So I'm super optimistic about DFS for sure.
All right, cool.
You gonna play? You gonna play Young Stallion? How old? I think you have to be 21, but I'm not sure. Yeah,
You be 21?
Yeah.
I think that's part of the new legislation. You have to be 21.
Can't be breaking no TOS, bro. Don't worry, man. Get
Yeah.
you on my account, man. It's
Speaking
okay.
of-
Get you on my account, bro. It's okay. You can play on the old Joe on your one account. It's okay.
Speaking
Oh no,
of
I
terms
did
of
not. I did
service,
not condone that.
You ever hear about? You see the YouTube terms of service lately?
Yeah, you on YouTube. You on YouTube, Adam? You on YouTube, right?
No, I was actually going to say something about that. Don't you think that it's more GTO for you to put your podcast on iTunes immediately? Like sometimes I'll see you like tweet about a guest I really want to listen to, but I'm in the car, I'm walking my dog or whatever. I don't have YouTube. I want to listen to a podcast. So like I want your podcast up. It takes 1 second to upload to iTunes. Why don't you just do it right after the podcast?
Great question. I had it in my head. I had an answer for this. Normally, I like to drive the traffic to YouTube for a day,
Uh-huh.
but it really doesn't fucking matter. I mean, I might as well just put them up straight away. No, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there listening to Bales today in the car. You're draining my data. You know what I mean? If I had the iTunes, I could just have it off and just no data. You know what I mean? Download it and that's it.
All right, that's a good point. You're right. I'm going to now. All right, I know everyone's going to agree on iTunes. I know.
Yeah.
People like to watch it on iTunes too, so I probably should.
And why? Like, what would be the motivation to drive to YouTube? You think it's like better for your brand or
No,
monetization?
I really don't think that much. I just,
You don't have monetization.
yeah, I do.
You do?
I don't make that much fucking money on YouTube. You don't make
I
barely. You
did-
barely make any money on you. You make like 2,500 per million views. I think I have like 3.5 million views or something like
I
that.
didn't think
So
you monetize your video.
I just started like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Oh.
Do you guys get any monetization on your stuff at all?
No.
Well, I guess DraftKings just pays you for it, and they're the main
Yeah.
sponsor.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, that's a really good point. I'm so used to just being a little bit lackadaisical with things from playing poker. Poker was such my focus for so long, but yeah, it doesn't
No,
take that long. It's like almost dumb not to really.
Yeah, like the Viffer thing, like I was like on pins and needles waiting to hear like midget stories and all this, and you're sitting there making me wait, there's no, I keep refreshing the thing. I wanted the Viffer stories. I couldn't wait.
Hooded says iTunes hype. I say that every day on Twitter when Poppy calls me Poppy. Yeah, that's true. You do say it a lot. Yeah, people do say it on. People do say it. All right, let me take. We got some more GTO strat here. Week 1 favorite on DK. Yep, says week 1 favorites on DraftKings.
No, I mean, come on, there's like so many obvious plays because the prices came out so early. So we have Spencer Ware is almost going to be a must play for me, assuming Jamal Charles is out. Marvin Jones, 4,600. I'm probably playing Dak. I don't know for sure yet if I have to. I think Tajay Sharp is a good play. Latavius, like all these guys are the chalk. Like I do ownership projections on Fantasy Labs for every single player. So like I'm real in tune with who I think people will be owned, and like people say, why are you talking about this? It's like these guys are massively owned anyways. Like you don't need me to tell you that Spencer Ware is a good play with Jamal Charles is out.
Dak Press Chalk, is that the name you gave him?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be, 20-25% at least, I'd say.
That's it?
At quarterback, guys usually don't get up that high because its position is so deep. I mean, you can make a case for 15, 16, 17 quarterbacks in week 1 alone that are actually good plays. So quarterback is always flatter than you think in terms of ownership.
Is DFS sustainable long term with 17% rake? Check Raise You 08 asks.
I think a lot of the games now are 12% rake. Do I think it's sustainable long term with that rake? I guess that question's above my pay grade. I don't know. I haven't done the math on it to realize what kind of ROI people need to sustain. But I do think a lot of people just play for fun. Like take $100 and play on Sunday. Like that's awesome fun. Like if you lose at the end of the year, it's not a big deal. And I think that's probably the way DFS will sustain more than people grinding head to heads against each other.
No, that's a good point. Definitely a good point.
How do you do projections for the fantasy?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Oh, ownership projections
Or for just what? Or for
or
Like
stat
both ownership and like just running through the plays on like the players. Do that?
So I don't personally do the projections. We have projections that we use to filter into the models on Fantasy Labs that I put a lot of faith in. There's a couple other guys that I trust whose projections
What
I
are the
like to
projections?
use. So like they'll project like how many catches, how many
Okay.
targets, how many yards, and then like you can adjust them from there. So if I really like, a guy, I'll bump up his projection before I put it into the model. In terms of projecting ownership, yeah, that's so much feel. So like, they just think about it. Like at first, I thought a lot of people would be on, Carson Palmer and Russell Wilson in week 1, and then this Dak thing happens, right? So now you have to lower the ownership for those guys, bump it up for Dak, but then you also realize people have more money, so now you have to also bump up higher priced guys. So then I bump up the ownership for Julio, bump up the ownership for Odell Beckham. So it's all kind of like a pulley system. If you're taking money and ownership away somewhere, you have to add it somewhere else. So just kind of feeling what people are going to do. And like if nobody's talking about a guy, like I don't know, nobody's talking about I don't even know who's a good play that
Matt Forte.
yeah, that's or like Matt Forte. I think will be between 2 and 4% owned. I think Jeremy Hill, Gio Bernard will probably be between 2 and 4% owned in that game. So yeah, guys like that, nobody's really talking about them. They're obviously going to be, and they don't have like ideal matchups. That's really the thing. People are always going to use guys when they're playing the Saints, when they're playing the Colts, when they're playing the Lions. When they're playing the Jaguars. Like all those guys' ownership is always going to be inflated.
We got Jonathan Bales in the chat, last night's podcast guest. He said, Leviton ownership projection goat.
Bale's always repping the brand.
I love it, man. I love it.
How funny was that poker picture? I'm wearing the Fantasy Labs T-shirt.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I like the photo on the team page or whatever.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's just so funny.
You excited for the team stuff? What do you think about the team idea? We talked a little bit about it yesterday with the team Fantasy Lab sort of thing. Not really any teams feel like in the fantasy world for the most part.
You don't think we can be like the Empire, like Big Donger, what's his name, Big Donger Kim and JMO and
I mean, I think it's possible. Like I want to see something like that. I don't know which one of you guys is Big Dick Donger Kim. Maybe Bales could play the big dick part. But Yeah, you need like the asshole. Who's the asshole of
Right.
the crew? Like Jason Moe.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think like those guys, I find them entertaining because like they're not afraid to bang people, and they're super egotistical, but I assume, I don't know, I don't play online or anywhere, those stakes, whatever. I assume that they back it up on the table too, which is, obviously cool. So yeah, I think yeah, in terms of team fantasy labs, yeah, I think getting to know people like Bale's talked about, like getting to know Ganondorf and B. Calicore, like these guys are like legends that I think people want to get to know, and I think people want to be like, hey, these guys are on fantasy labs using their models and their tools. Maybe I should be too, and I think that makes sense also.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with that. A couple more questions. We'll wrap it up here. Steven says, it's actually a good question. Not actually, but it is a good question. Can we take advantage of lower ownership in low dollar GPPs on guys like Dak, Ware, and Marvin and be more successful cashing?
What does that mean?
He's suggesting that people playing lower stakes won't necessarily be aware that Dak and Ware and Marvin are such good plays. I don't know if that's the case, and maybe that's a problem with the ecosystem because, like all the people who are in tune or even marginally in tune are also playing those low stakes games. So I wouldn't adjust ownership down that much. Maybe for the quarter arcade, but like for the $3 and the $2, I think ownership will be relatively flat compared to the 27 or the 109 or whatever. I mean, I take that back. As you get to like 109 and the 300 and up from there, guys are going to be even chalkier. So like Ware might be like 80% in the 1K or something, where he'd be 30% in the 33 or the $3.
Sean Riley, are there any stats used for projection that you think are overrated?
Stats in projection that I think are overrated. Not necessarily used for projection that I think are overrated, but I do think a lot of like beat writer observations, like Kobe Fleener's not on the same page with Drew Brees, and all of a sudden that becomes a headline that gets retweeted everywhere. It's just like asinine, you know what I mean? Like some beat writer like saw Kobe Fleener like drop a ball or Drew Brees look the other way in practice, and now it becomes a huge story. I don't really buy that. I think we have to be very careful with wide receiver cornerback matchups. These guys move around so much, like the Steelers aren't dumb, they're gonna move around Antonio Brown to get him in good matchups. So just because XYZ corner is scheduled to be on him, I think it could be a good spot to be contrarian there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I'll think about it more. Feel free to email me, AJL201 at Yahoo.
What is your email? AJ201?
It's just from a Penn State. They gave me AJL201 was like my ID at Penn State, and I just always kept it. So AJL201 at Yahoo.
AJL201 at Yahoo. I caught that. I got it. I caught that one. Bro, any last questions you want to ask Adam?
So projection wise, who would be like, say if Forte was on there, and like, do they also project like how many times he's been tackled during one single during every first down, every second down, every third down?
What do you mean tackled? Like how far does he go before he gets tackled?
How far does he go?
Yeah, that's like a real simple stat, yards per carry. But like if you can, there's so many advanced stats. You can look at after he gets hit, how far does he go on average? You can look at how many missed tackles he gets per whatever number of carries. The stats are getting more and more advanced in NFL. I think they're catching up to the other sports, and yeah, you can go as deep as you want to go with advanced stats these days.
What's
I think.
What's the best stat site?
So for DFS, I think Fantasy Labs. I mean, obviously I'm affiliated.
Right, so
I say that,
all these are on there then, right?
but yeah, all those are on there. But yeah,
Okay.
I think I love using Pro Football Focus also, and like I've been a long time subscriber to Pro Football Focus. Not affiliated in any way. I wish I was, but their stuff is legit awesome. Like they have like an army of people charting every single play, like what happens on for every player of every single play. I can't even imagine like how big their staff is because they like turn this around in like a few hours. It's insane. But yeah, I love PFF.
Sick.
This looks cool.
I'm gonna contact him, try to get one of them on the podcast throughout the season, man. I don't know. Email him and see. Listen, man, you got questions? I'm gonna find out answers, man. Hey, I'm trying to find out who these people are. You want to lead the people with a last thought, maybe a last piece of advice as if they don't listen to anything else and they play DFS this week one, give them something, a little nugget.
Yeah, I always preach game selection, but more importantly, I've got head-to-heads out there. If you guys want to play me, come on between the lines. I'll see you in there. I'm posted up. Come get me.
All right, Adam. Guys, if you want to find Adam, it's at Adam Leviton on Twitter. Right
Yep.
for DraftKings. Also on Fantasy Labs. Jesus. Also podcasting
hmm
on Roto again. Okay, you say it's a lot of stuff, Brody. God damn, son. Go ahead. Tell him real quick. Give him the thing.
Yeah, you can find our podcast on iTunes. Unlike Joey, we put up the podcast within like 30 minutes of the show.
Bang bang.
Within 30 minutes of the show wrapping or so. Yeah, so you can search Daily Fantasy Football Edge, or I always link to that on my Twitter. Pretty much anything I'm working on, you can find on my Twitter. So I would just say go there. If you want to see what I'm working on, just go to my Twitter. I use it kind of as like a link page. Like anything I'm working on, I link to it on my Twitter. I kind of use it as a hub for people to jump off from there. So yeah, just at Adam Levitan.
You got good advice in the chat. Don't blow your wad on week 1. That's a good. Yeah, don't go, guys. Don't blow your wad. Don't premature ejaculate in the NFL season. Wait, hold it in, baby. Hold it in.
Yeah, like I took. I don't play much 10 and a quarter cash, but I took some shots over the summer and didn't go so well. So it just you saying blowing your wad just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's kind of like blowing your wad. I mean, oh, Poppy, it was fun, man. Hey, I'm be tuning into the pod to get some GT. I just even if I don't play, I still want to like it's to be informative to learn, and I do so much stuff outside and basketball and working out, so I like finding podcasts to check out. So I'll be listening throughout the podcast
Yeah,
and checking out the articles and stuff.
you should really think about that side bet because I think it'd be interesting and people would find it interesting. You max enter the quarter arcade for a month in whatever sport you want and see if you can turn a profit. I know you got a lot of side bets going,
Yeah.
a lot of prop bets
Well,
going.
it would only be 4 for NFL, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean it'd be
Do
better.
it,
NBA would be better, but
you
yeah,
could
I
just
mean,
do NFL for the year.
okay.
Oh man, let's be fun. What do you want to side bet? Or I gotta find out. Before I can decide, I'll do it. I don't know. Like I gotta see how feasible or hard or easy it is or not. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna start like getting like projections from Asani and like mass entering with his tools, that might be a different story. But like I'm trying to make the point that some, like people think it's just so easy to get projections. Like, like having elite, like the best possible projections, that's the key. The key isn't mass entering, it's having the most accurate, insane projections.
I certainly don't fucking have that.
Yeah.
Although I could go to San Diego. He plays tournaments, right? He plays cash or tournaments. He said tournaments.
Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah.
Tournaments. I think tournaments. Yeah, I'll take that in NBA. Someone said. I don't know. I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try for NFL. I'll try to do it. We'll talk about it more. So, all right, Adam. Thanks for
Also,
coming
if
out.
anybody's in Nashville, also, I'm looking for action in Nashville. I mean, basketball, tennis, track race. Let me know.
You want one-on-one action in basketball?
Yeah, I'm only like I'm 5'6", 150,
I feel like,
I'm willing to go to war. Let's put it that way.
I feel like I got a slight edge on you, Poppy.
He's
That's
6'2".
that's fine.
One-on-one. One-on-one. I mean, good. I mean, I
I'm
got
happy to play.
height's such a big thing on one-on-one though.
I agree.
He's so.
You got to give me odds or something like that. I think then it sounds like.
No.
I need
You're like
odds.
6'2". You're like 6'2", right? I see it in your
Yeah.
Twitter profile. It's like a dating profile. Like 6'2".
Listen, man. Shout to Tall Girl Twitter. Yeah, 6'2", 185. Ding. Yeah, I know. Hey, we're trying to put on a little size here with this food and diet and stuff like that. You want to eat pizza?
Yeah.
All right, fuck. Let's eat pizza. Adam,
All right.
take care, guys in the chat. Much love to everybody out there. I will see you guys soon. Check out Adam on Twitter. Follow the motherfuckers. Go click on his page. Shout out to my boy Yardstick, aka Tutu Andrew Cole, aka my little brother. And guys, we'll be back next week. I'm actually having Evan Silva on next week. I'm not sure which day. And then poker podcast wise, next Friday, I'm going to have on a guy named Alex Luneau, who is a longtime, very high stakes player, more well known for being on a thing called Nosebleed, this poker documentary that was fucking awesome. So we're
Oh,
gonna
I
have him
think I
on.
watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the guys on there. We're gonna have him on Friday. And I don't know the rest of my schedule. That's it. I'm out. Peace out. Guys, take care.